Yo, you made it. It's your favorite comic on the rise, Melvin Williams, and you are officially tuned into the Comedy Chatter Podcast. You've been searching for a pod that talks all things comedy, as well as kick it with today's nationally touring and headlining comedians, and this is the podcast for you. What is good people? It's your man, Melvin Williams. Welcome back to the Comedy Chatter Podcast, episode 7. We are moving right along. Hopefully everybody's doing very well. Hopefully you're feeling good, man. You had a great week, great day, great month, great whatever. The last time I heard from you guys, last time you guys heard from me, should I say. Hopefully all is well. So much to get into the Comedy Chatter Podcast this episode. Started off by letting you guys know who I'm interviewing. The one and only Mr. Josol, very, very funny comedian. He came through the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase this past weekend and blew the roof off of the place. Very, very funny guy out of Canada. He did his thing, man. We were blessed enough to have him, and he was, also just, even in doing two shows. Actually, he actually got there Thursday, so he did a show Thursday, which I didn't know. But then he did 2 Friday and 2 Saturday, and he was nice enough to give me an interview, sit down with me, and let me chat with him. So it's always good when the comedians are nice enough and cordial enough to do that. Always like to start this thing off with my shout outs. People who were instrumental in helping me get this Comedy Chatter Podcast thing off the ground. Mr. Roger Feeney, he's the club manager and owner of the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. He was nice enough to, believe in my vision when I told him, I kind of had an idea and I wanted to do a podcast. I knew I would need a place, a venue. I also knew I would need access to comedians. So he had both. I hollered at him, I got a really good relationship with him. The coolest dude in the world, fairest guy in the world, man. All you got to do is pretty much, be cool and cordial with him, and he'll return that. And so he was nice enough to let me do my thing, man. I told him what I wanted to do, and so mad shout out to Roger Feeney. I'm 7 episodes in, still very brand new, still kind of grassroots and everything, but enjoying the journey nonetheless. So thank you, Mr. Roger Feeney, for allowing me access to the comics and doing my thing in the Comedy Chatter Podcast, with the Comedy Chatter Podcast in the green room. Second, my man, Mr. David Pittman, who was my sound and editing guy. You do a podcast, man, you need, equipment, you need to know how to, work it, you need, editing and all of that stuff. And all the people, that I was, asking and kind of saying what helped me out, man, they were all, none of them, I guess, either didn't believe in my vision or they found, saw it as an opportunity to try to get paid, get some money. You know what I'm saying? David Pittman was the only person that wasn't that guy. I hit him up, mutual friend of a friend, and asked him, told him my vision. And he was nice enough to say, of course, I'll help you out, man. He's got his own stuff popping off too with his he's in radio and TV, and so he's getting a lot of radio stations and things getting being broadcasted in Michigan. Y'all need to check him out, man. Check out his Facebook, check out his YouTube. Mr. David Pittman, very cool guy, man. He's definitely instrumental in helping me get this podcast off the ground. So thank you very much to those two, Roger Feeney, David Pittman. I'll always shout you guys out every time. Back in the day sponsor. Which direction am I going this time? For those of you guys who are hip to the back in the day sponsor, it's basically, like I said, I'm grassroots. I'm pop the trunk. I'm a pop the trunk operation. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, how they say on Jalen and Jacoby's podcast. Pop the trunk. Basically, man, hey, you selling your CDs at the trunk of your car now. You don't have a distribution deal. You're not in the record stores, and you're not on in the malls and stuff like that. So you got to start somewhere. So that's where I am. I'm a pop the trunk operation, and so I don't have any sponsors. You know what I'm saying? Sponsors, I don't have nobody throwing me no loot to try to make this happen. I do this as a labor of love for myself. So I make this happen, all on my own. So with that said, I have to, I'm thinking about places that are no longer in business. That if they were in business, like they would be my sponsor. So that's where I got the back in the day sponsor from. This go round, the back in the day sponsor is Mervyn's department store. Oh my God, do y'all remember Mervyn's? Hey, Mervyn's was part of my childhood. Like Like I knew, like when my mother took me into Mervyn's to go shopping, like we was, goddamn it, we was about to do some serious school shopping. This wasn't like no playful shit. You wasn't getting no t-shirts, you wasn't getting no jeans. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't, when you went to Mervyn's, you was getting like serious, you was getting like picture day shit. You know what I'm saying? You was getting like sweaters and slacks and Dockers. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about like regular sweaters. I'm talking about like them Bill Cosby sweaters. You know what I mean? Like them motherfucking Wednesday Lover sweaters. You know the ones I'm talking about. You know, with a little leather on the sleeve. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Mervyn's wasn't no hoe. Like, my sister hated Mervyn's. She's like, I don't want to go to no damn Mervyn's. I was like, hey, you know, I don't care. As long as I get some clothes. That's that kind of kid I was. I ain't need all that new shit on. But yeah, Mervyn's, man, that was part of my childhood. So hey, back in the day, sponsor this go around is Mervyn's department store. If they were still in business, then maybe they would sponsor us due to the fact that I just shouted them all the way out. Yeah, man. So what am I chatting on today, man? What's the chat about today? You know what? I had a good time this past weekend going to the comedy clubs and, you know, checking out, you know, comedians that were, you know, doing their thing. And it kind of started to get me to think. First of all, like I said, I'm still a fan. You know, I'm still a fan, even though I've been doing it, you know, 10 years now. Like I'm still a guy that enjoys just going to the comedy club. You know, sometimes I'll go and I'll, you know, shake everybody's hand and I'll just sit in the back. And the first thing everybody will know, hey, you going up, man? Mel, you going up? You trying to get on stage? I'm like, you know, sometimes if I'm, you know, if I got some new stuff or I come to work, usually I'll know it's premeditated if I'm coming to work out. I'm already like, yeah, I'm you know, coming to work on some stuff. But yeah, you know, like certain nights I just go just to be a fan, man, just to look at the crowd, look at the audience, man, and watch the comedians, you know, and so it got me to kind of, you know, thinking, you know, I'm watching these comedians perform, you know, guys were doing guest sets, and then of course there's a feature, and then, you know, of course the headliner. I started thinking about all the comedians that I come in contact with, you know, when I go on these, when I go on the road as well, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in different, you know, cities and different states. You know, it's nothing for me to be, if I was in Phoenix, you know, a couple of weeks ago with, you know, doing the show with Ali Sadiq. He let me come down and do a guest set. Can't wait to get him on the pod, by the way. But yeah, and then before that, I was in Toronto, chilling at the Just for Laughs festival, which I've already spoke about on the pod. But yeah, it just allowed me to start kind of thinking about the kind of comedians that I see. You know what I'm saying? And we all, have that, I'm certain that we all have, what we have in common is the fact that we're, comics, and we're, trying to write, and we're trying to perform. But that's probably where the similarities end, because they're all different types of, personalities and different types of comedians out there. So it made me start thinking about like kind of categorizing the comics that I run into, and it kind of made me chuckle. I said this would be a perfect thing to chat about on the podcast. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk. I've kind of made a few categories, and I'm gonna kind of sum up a lot of the comedians that I run into, and sort of try to put them into a category, if you will, and you guys kind of follow me. So the first category I'll talk about, and I think this is where I fit in. And, like I said, I'm not saying these to say that, hey, this is how you should be. This is how I should be. As a matter of fact, most of the categories, I'm thinking that, good comedians have all of the characteristics of these categories in them. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be good, you damn near need to be all of the characteristics, of these categories. So, the first one is the humble comedian. That's me. Like I said, I consider myself the humble comic. I'm real. My humility level is high, and what I mean by that is, I'm not the kind of guy that is coming in with a huge ego. You know what I'm saying? I don't take myself too seriously. Remember, it's comedy. You know what I'm saying? And we're all, when you think about it, just dreamers. We're all trying to like make something special happen here. You know what I'm saying? Like Kevin Hart didn't just there was no blueprint. There was no map that Kevin Hart followed and guided to becoming the hottest comedian, in the country like he is now. Like he followed his own journey, you know what I'm saying? And, he was out there for a while before people started, really respecting him. But a couple of things dropped, and One day he woke up after a 20-year, comedy career, and he was the hottest comedian in the country. So yeah. So with that said, like me being a humble comic, and I don't have a huge ego. I kind of like go in, and if I can get some time that night, I will. You know what I'm saying? If I can't, then hey, no big deal. I'll sit down and I'll watch everybody else. The humble comedian doesn't like to try to step on anybody's toes. He's not giving advice to people. He's not saying what you should do, what you shouldn't do. He's listening to whatever advice other people give him. He's not shutting them down, saying, "Oh man, you don't know what you're talking about." The humble comedian is also very, he can be, outspoken and wordy, in terms of talking, but for the most part, like the humble comedian is laid back. You have to kind of go over there and chat with him. Like like I said, he's just kind of taking it all in. And so that's me. That's kind of how I am. People very rarely, think that when I tell them I'm a comedian and I do comedy, they don't believe me. They're like, really? Like, I can't even see you doing comedy. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that I'm trying to kind of work on, and kind of change because yeah, in terms of doing something like that, you want to be more personable. I think you want to be, you want to put yourself out there a little more in terms of networking. I've spoken about that on the pod before too. But yeah, man, the humble comedian is just real laid back and real. He takes it how he can get it. You know what I'm saying? Takes it how he can get it. He doesn't, push at all. And a lot of that, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to me, there's a certain fear in pushing. There's a certain fear in trying to, do more or be more than you really are. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing it, 10 years. But with that said, I don't, feel that I'm, at a level of certain people. You know what I mean? And that's maybe something that I need to change. Maybe something that I need to work on. I'm the kind of guy that just likes to, I believe in the whole, definition of success, which a lot of people say is preparation meeting opportunity. So, hey, I just want to continue to, go to open mics and, do guest sets. And, someone books me, then I'm showing up, on time, and I'm doing my set and just trying to get better, writing every day. Anytime something hits me, I'm writing and working on the stuff in the mirror in my house. You know what I mean? That's the kind of comic I am. So by the time that's preparation. So by the time that opportunity comes, man, I'm gonna hopefully knock it out of the park. So that's the humble comic, which leads me to the next comic. And this comic is everyone knows this comic as well. This is the hungry comic. Now, the hungry comic is the comic that, hey, he's trying to get it. He's trying to eat, basically. Like, no matter what. Like, the hungry comic is looking for his next meal. You know what I'm saying? Flat out. And sometimes literally. Like, that's one thing I didn't mention about the humble comic. The humble comic don't really worry about money. You know what I'm saying? He's not worried about, like, was it a paying gig or whatever. as long as I get the stage time. Oh, not the hungry comic. Hungry comic got to eat. So the hungry comic need his... the hungry comic need his, $100 tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not, you know what I'm saying? This got to be a paying gig in order for the hungry comic. the hungry comic is the comic that's, like calling you. Like, he's calling you, asking you for shows. He's, right behind the club promoter and the booker and the comedy club, following him around all night, listening to all his jokes, laughing at all his jokes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's right there. The hungry comic shows up at 6:45 for an 8 o'clock show. You know what I'm saying? Hungry comic gets there. He gets his water because, you don't have no money. You know what I'm saying? So he gets a cup of water from the bar, and he goes over and sits in the corner, and he drinks, and he's waiting for his opportunity, man. Like, the hungry comic, hey, he don't mind stepping on a few toes either. You know what I'm saying? Some people think that's a negative thing, but hey, some people say, hey, that's a positive. Like, hey, the hungry comic is here for one reason and one reason only, and that's for opportunity. He wants to get on that stage. He wants to, like, possibly, get paid. He's going in when it comes to stand-up comedy. That's the hungry comic. So I see these comics all the time, man. Obviously by me being the humble, there's a juxtaposition there, between the humble and the hungry comic. The humble comic is sort of laid back. Hungry comic ain't laid back. Hungry comic is usually writing, hey, how you guys doing? What's going on, man? My name is, Joe Schmo. I'm here. I've been doing stand-up for, this amount of years. I'm trying to get on stage. You know what I'm saying? That's the hungry comic, and more power to them too. I'm also, like I said, in each one of these categories, I think that it's important to try to have, like some characteristics of each one of them, and me definitely that's something I'm definitely trying to do. I'm trying to get some more of the hungry comic in me. Not saying that I'm not hungry, but with that said, I'm just more more laid back and more I like for somebody to kind of recognize my talent and notice me. I'm not running up behind anybody. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to this whole thing. I want them to recognize my talent and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I saw you, man. You were pretty good. Hey, man, you pretty funny. What are you up to? Where are you going? Do you have an agent? Do you have this? Do you have that? So yes, the hungry comic is definitely one of the categories that I notice whenever I go out and from different cities. It's universal too. Like different cities, states, you always got the hungry comic. You always got the humble comic. The last category, and this is the funniest one to me. This is the funniest guy. This is the funniest comedian. Funniest he or she. This is the funniest comedian to me right here. Funniest comedian category. And this is the disgruntled comic. The disgruntled comic is just cynical and just pissed off about everything. He's disgruntled that, like the shit, just everything. He's disgruntled. He'll always let you know what he's not pleased about. Hey man, the lighting in this club is horrible tonight, man. What's wrong with the lighting? And why are they sitting the people like that in that way? Why are they sitting the people all the way up there? They should spread them out so it looks like it's more like they just always have an opinion on everything. They're real cynical, real pessimistic about everything. But guess what? Hey, they're not going anywhere. That's what's funny to me about the disgruntled. Because they're disgruntled, they've been doing comedy for 13, 14 years. And they complain about every fucking thing, but at the same time, they're not going anywhere. Like, this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? They write, they come to the comedy club, and they want, opportunity just like the hungry comedian, just like the humble comedian. But guess what? Chances are they've been both of those before. They've been the humble, they've been the hungry, and now they've turned into the disgruntled because they've been doing it so long and they're still where they are. That's just, my opinion. But yeah, man, the disgruntled comedian is just, that's who in all honesty, I'm trying not to become. So I've been in 10 years and I'm still like a kid though. I'm still like a kid in the candy store. Like I told you, I still enjoy it. There's nothing about the journey. There's nothing about there's nothing about where I'm going and this, that, and where I am now that I don't like. There's nothing. I'm not upset about anything. Like and to be honest, I think I'm right where I'm supposed to be. A lot of people think 10 years is a lot of time. Dang, you've been doing comedy 10 years. Don't nobody know you, man. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you have to kind of think about that. You got to think about that. You got to tell yourself that and say, hey, who knows? It could happen. People didn't know Tiffany Haddish this time last year. You know what I'm saying? This time last year, she was just a regular comedian, and she was getting it in. She was going to a lot of the same places I've been to. She was at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase a few years back. Came in there, rocked it. You know what I'm saying? But now here she is, straight A-list after Girls Trip dropped. So yeah, it's definitely a journey. Rough. 40 is rough, man. Yes, and when you get older, I'm getting older, so that means I'm hanging with older people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm hanging with older folks. Like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's older. I start realizing different things about older people, too. Yeah. Certain things is different, like with younger folks. Like, younger folks, hey, remember, anytime younger people pay for stuff, what they use? A debit card, right? Debit card. Oh, give your debit card. Just swipe the debit card. Chip or swipe. Chip or swipe. Chip, swipe. That's young people, right? No matter what it is, $1.73, right? The motherfuckers is using their debit card. Am I right? Hey, not old people. Hey, I love old women. Them old women got that goddamn coin purse, you know the one I'm talking about? That snap at the top. And they got every fucking coin imaginable in it, you know? I'm talking about pennies, nickels, dimes. Hey, you get a good one, she have a motherfucking silver dollar in there. Where did you get this from, Mildred? This is the silver dollar. This is 100 years old, Mildred. Where'd you get this? She always got a story. Oh, I got that from Ulysses S. Grant. You know you did that. Now you're lying, Mildred. Now you're lying. So those are my three categories. But if you guys got any categories, man, some of y'all hit me up every now and then. You hit me up. Tell me if y'all got a category of comedians that you see. Like, you know, somebody told me the groupie comedian. I don't really necessarily see groupie comedians, you know, but you know, you'll have to kind of tell me the characteristics of the groupie comedian. I'm not certain exactly what they are. I mean, I guess I'm thinking that, you know, they just kind of hang around other like more famous or more, you know, more put on comedians than they are. I don't know, but yeah. If you guys got if you guys have a category of comics that you see when you're traveling, or when you're, you know, when you go to your home club, you know, and you see this group of comedians, man, yeah, kind of hit me up and let me know. Add to the list. Yeah, so that's all I got to chat on this time, man. Let's go around episode 7. I'm in it for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen. So any up and coming comedians out there, man, start telling your friends, man. Make sure y'all listen, subscribe, and support. I'll be doing this, you know, every now and then. Y'all just kind of check out my page. Y'all will see when I'm dropping new episodes. I never leave y'all without one. So ever since June, I've been just kind of like, you know, throwing these out there so you guys can enjoy them. This is definitely the podcast for the up and coming comedian. You know, I try my best to have interviews with comedians who aren't afraid to speak their truth, but who are also not afraid to drop some game. You know what I'm saying? Give us some knowledge. You know, tell us about, like, you'll hear on the interview today with Mr. Ron Josol. He'll tell you, like, you know, in terms of, you know, getting agents and, you know, managers and how that's helped him out. You know, he's been in the game 20 years from what he told me. So yeah, man, I like to get comedians who are going to let us know. We got a big year coming up too, man. You know, new year coming up. I've already spoken some things into existence. That's kind of what I like to do. So I got a couple of crazy comics gonna be on next year. I want you guys to check out this amazing interview. Canada's finest, Mr. Ron Josol. Yep. All right, guys, welcome to the Comedy Chatter Podcast, episode 7. We're moving right along. I got Mr. Ron Josol. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name
right. Man, it's perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I figured I didn't want to kind of mess it up. So how's everything going, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I just finished the first show Saturday. Crowd was dope.
Damn, the crowd was dope.
Yeah.
Man.
Thursday was cool, too. They were smaller. Yesterday...
So you've been since Thursday?
Thursday.
I didn't know that. I thought you just did 2 Friday, 2 today.
We started Thursday.
Awesome.
One show. Then Friday, first show was good. Not like this.
Yeah.
Second show was like a typical second late night show where it's a little rough, where they love to talk.
Yeah.
Kind of drunk. And
you got to work.
You've been an asshole crowd.
You got to work. Yeah, they make you work. Yeah. I came yesterday, you know, just to kind of come in and officially meet you before we came in tonight. And, hey, that crowd was dope, too, numbers-wise. He's doing great numbers, because tonight, same thing, great numbers. But like you said, the energy was just, man, cutting it with a knife tonight. They were just all with you. Every joke.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah. So great crowd, great energy and all that, which is always good. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, now tell me, I'm starting it here. Tell me about Canada. From what I'm hearing, like, you the man in Canada. Like, that's what I want to know.
Canada, I started 20 years ago.
Okay.
And in my first year in 1997 and 1998, I won. I got into the Just for Laughs festival.
The festival, is this the Montreal
Just for Laughs
festival?
That's
huge.
I got in because I won. They don't do it anymore, but they had a competition across Canada.
Gotcha.
To see who was under 2 years in comedy whoever won. I won that one.
Oh, okay. That's a tight. That's a tight contest to have too, like an under 2 year one.
Yeah, under 2 years. Man. They don't do it anymore, but And from that, I did Just for Laughs 1998.
Okay.
And then after that, I hadn't played Just for Laughs until 2008. So it was 10 years until I played it again.
Wow.
And then in 2008, I did 2010, 2012, 2014, 16.
So yeah.
So every 2 years,
you're a staple. Yeah, you're a staple.
Yeah.
And that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one.
Sure.
Yeah, like shit. I one of my favorite comedians, rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, my favorite. What, top 5 for me?
Top 5, exactly. That's kind of how I got, started. I was just watching it there. Every time they would always talk about how much Opie and Anthony, how much he was going to Just for Laughs. Yeah, oh man, amazing. Yeah. So that's how I found out about the Just for Laughs. So that's awesome, man, that you actually got a chance. And then only 2 years in, so shit, you damn near a prodigy. I know my 2 years in, I was still kind of like,
well, I think
not certain.
I think it was mainly because one of my friends, who was a big comic today, Russell Peters.
Okay, that's one of your friends. Yeah, he's huge.
When he wasn't big yet, he said, "Don't showcase in a club yet. I'm going to bring you on the road for a year, and every weekend you're going to practice that 5 minutes."
Hell yeah!
And at the end of that year, I had this killer 5.
Hell yeah!
Then he brought me. He goes, "Just keep doing the same jokes, and whatever works, keep. Whatever doesn't work, take out."
Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to throw it out, but just put it on the shelf. And maybe one day it'll come back. One day it won't. Just keep it there. And then eventually he goes, "Come with me. I'm going to tell the owner of this comic club called Yuck Yucks, you got to see this guy."
Oh yeah, I've heard of Yuck Yucks over there too.
It was it's the first comedy club that started in Canada in 1972. Mm-hmm. And
is this Windsor or is it somewhere? There's them
20,
all over now. Yeah. I've heard of Yuck Yucks.
And then so he goes, "You guys see this guy Ron?" And then the owner Mark Breslin goes, "Okay, go up." I went up, destroyed. He goes, "Okay, we're going to put you on this fast track plan where you go on every week for 6 months."
I love it. Fast track plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. And then after 6 months, if you have 15 minutes... Oh, no. He goes, "After 6 months, I'm going to showcase you again. Brand new material. If you can kill, you now work." After 6 months, I killed with 7 minutes. And he goes, "Okay, cool. Next week you're featuring." And I go, "Cool." And he goes, "So you do 25." And I'm like, "What?"
You was like, "Wait a minute.
I only have 7.
I got 7 minutes, dude." Like you speeding up. Yeah.
So
I thought in your mind you like, "Wait a minute now. You speeding up my process." I get it.
So I went and I had to do 25, and I literally just did 10, and I left because I couldn't do more. And then the manager called Mark Breslin, the owner, who promoted me. He goes, "Hey, you promoted this guy Ron Josol." And he's like, "Yeah." He only did 10 minutes. He's like, "What? Can I put him on speaker?" So in the office, he's like, "Ron, why did you do only 10 minutes?" I go, "Because I heard you in a seminar when I first started that said all you need is 7 minutes and you can get it any club in the world." And so I only practiced 7. And he was like, "That's true." Well, I can't lie about that because you got
touche. You got me. Yeah.
But if you don't have 20 minutes in 6 months, I'm firing you. So till today, I haven't written 10 minutes in 6 months.
Wow.
In my life.
Exactly.
Because I had a gun to my head.
Exactly.
So
Like,
when you have a gun to your head, so I think when you see those stars going, how the fuck are they coming an hour a year? Oh, well, they have a gun to their head.
They got a gun to their head. They probably got some kind of deal, and they got to bring it. Netflix.
Chappelle's getting fucking $16 million to do 3 specials.
3 specials.
So that's a gun to his head. He has to come up with that, and he probably has a deadline where he has to come up with that shit too. So he's been out every fucking day.
Exactly.
I've seen him in open mics that have 2 people, 3 people in the room.
Yeah.
I've seen him doing it.
Oh, so you've been one of those lucky ones just kind of had an open mic one night and then Chappelle walks in?
Well, I mean, I've seen him like at least 25 times or 20 or Chris Rock. And
yes, I've heard those stories.
In LA and New York. You'll see them working on shit every week.
Exactly.
So I've seen pretty much every single comic that you can name, including Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
but not even him going on stage; he's just watching.
Yeah. I was about to say Eddie is. Everybody's trying to ask him to go back on stage. He's just kind of like
Well, he knows like
movie money. Yeah.
He knows everybody that is somebody because he came up to my friend Maz Jabrani and he was like, "Maz, I love your stuff." And Maz was like, "How do you know me?" He's like, "I know everybody that works."
Yeah.
Because I that's what I do.
He digs it. Yeah, he digs it. Yeah, so I've heard that he's kind of at the club. But yeah, everybody's just trying to edge your ball. I mean, he knows also too. Like, and this is my take on Eddie when it comes to stand up. Hey, I think I heard him say it one day. Hey, you gotta have shit. I don't care how big your name is and all that. If you don't, after those applause go down, Eddie. Yeah, hey, you gotta. If you don't have shit, man, they'll talk about you like a dog. Man, Eddie was horrible tonight. So he's like, I would literally have to go back to the drawing board. You know, so very true. So do me a favor in comparison. We just kind of talked about your beginning. tell me how, compared to night and how electric the crowd was and how you were tonight and how good you were, to like one of the first like times you ever gotten up, man. I know
my
you said
first
20
time,
years.
my first time ever, I didn't know comedians wrote jokes.
Okay.
I thought it was the whole thing was just made up on
improv.
So I thought Chris Rock's Bring the Pain. I thought Delirious was them just talking.
Yeah.
So I thought there was a different show every time.
Mm-hmm.
And even people still think that because I had an audience member come on Friday and they're like, hey, we're going to come on Saturday. Are you doing a different 45 minutes or 40 hour? Or I go, no. I go, it will be 90% the same
exactly.
and 10% in between.
10% crowd work, yeah.
And
exactly.
then you'd be like, why? They'd be like, why? I go, it does change in a couple years. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But it really, if I'm famous, I would have to change it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how famous people do with their shit. They would get their hour. They would before they actually even film it, they would tour with it, right?
Yeah.
And then film it, and then their second tour is then 1 year practicing.
Yeah.
And then once they're finished 1 year, got another hour, they tour with it, then they dump it, and then they don't tour, they just practice again for that year. You know, that's how they do it.
That's how they do it.
And they're on
absolutely right.
Again, the gun in their head. For me, I'm just like, no, it changes organically the way you fucking trim a bonsai tree.
Yeah.
You just keep trimming it, things grow, and then maybe in 1 year it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
But it still has some things.
That's a good analogy. Yep. Yeah. The bonsai tree is a great analogy.
It could be a normal tree too, but
I
said bonsai because I'm Asian.
Bonsai because you're Asian. Yeah, I think I picked up on that. Now you do a lot. You're right. You're obviously right. What we know, but you do a lot. Your dad is in there in your set, and a lot, like Asian kind of stuff. So kind of harp on that. Like, what about that? Do you think it's kind of, does that help you like identify with a lot of your group, a lot of the audience, basically?
Well, the audience is never really Asian.
Okay.
Normally my audiences are like this. They're predominantly 90% white.
White,
so
of
that's
course.
what
mine as well. Everybody's.
But when I do a Filipino show, it will be different.
Yeah, okay. So you can do a little more. Yeah, you can do a little more of your stuff.
There's 45 minutes of stuff that I can't do here.
Exactly.
Right, and only people that are not white get that. Yeah. Because when you play a black audience, you might have to do something.
Got to, yeah, exactly. You got to do some different. But like you said, I can do some stuff there that I can't today where they won't even get. You know what I'm saying? I can do some stuff here, do some straight up, be like, oh yes, like I get that. I say that around one of these. You're like, oh yeah, not getting that. Yeah.
But like I guess my hour is really divided up into different years of what I was into.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Like my opener kind of changes all the time because it's always new. But the Filipino stuff is when I had to do so much Filipino shows, and then I kept what would still work in a white audience. Okay. The sex stuff is the early stuff that I did back when I was more dirtier, and then now I had to put some more realism into it. Yeah. Like if this house is clean, I can come. That's a very straight and honest feeling from women I've got. Yeah. Because before I ever had sex in a grown woman's house, it had to be
clean. Yes, they're not like going to sleep with dirty dishes. None of that shit. No. Like we could care less. Yeah, but they're like nah. Like, or if they come over your crib, they're like, no, you're cleaning this some bitch up before I do anything.
You can't bend over your girl the kitchen counter when she can see the dirty dishes in front of her.
Yes, indeed. That's hilarious. Yeah. Very true. That's a very good observation. Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit. We've spoken a little bit about it so far, but you seem to be a staple, and you seem to done a lot of festivals. So not just in Montreal, but I kind of read some of the bio. You did a lot of them. How do you feel about just kind of working? And do you think that's something that a lot of comedians should try to do? Do the festivals?
I think that a comedian's, resume has to not being famous. You have to tour the country. I feel that is very important. Across America or across Canada, that's very important because your material has to be able to be universal to do that.
Exactly. You can't just do one place.
No, and even if you're an alternative comedian or an edgy comedian or something that is more specific, you still have to make that universal to tour. Yeah. Because staying in one city can only give you so much money.
Okay.
And that's the truth. When I stayed in Canada, I could make $30,000 a year. But that's not bad. But if I tour the world, I can make 100.
Yeah.
Because every week there's a $2,000 weekend plus another $500 somewhere, and you can make $10,000 a month or $8,000 a month.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But you can't do that in the city that you live in, because they will never book you every weekend.
Okay, yeah, exactly. They're like, hell, we had him last week.
Yeah, there's 3 clubs here. There's one here, and
Mark Ridley's in Royal Oak, and then we used to have Joey's. Right. I believe they closed Joey's down. So yeah.
And can you headline there every weekend?
Exactly.
No.
They'd be like, hell no.
The touring comic has to be able to gather as many clubs as they can, and an agent can really make that happen, or a manager. You cannot do that on your own, because an agent and manager has years of relationships. 40, 50, 100 clubs.
Yeah.
So their green light, them talking, because they have those accessible 40 clubs. When they say you have a client, they trust the manager, they trust the agent that this person's going to be
that there. They're good. Okay,
yeah. So
gotcha.
This guy, he knows my agent, and my agent said this guy should work at a club, and Roger's like, okay, cool. Like, he trusts my agent.
Yeah.
Even though they don't know me, there was a green light because of trust
from the agent.
Now, if I didn't have an agent or manager, how many clubs can I headline on my own without that?
Yeah.
I could probably headline one a year. Because you'd have to go to 40 to 50 clubs a year to showcase.
Okay.
Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You need that other side. And that side also helps you get the festivals.
Yeah.
The manager also allows a manager and an agent work together, and the manager says, okay, well, you have to help Ron get stuff overseas, and I will negotiate this. And the manager helps you get a booking agent, helps you get a theatrical agent, helps you get you a commercial agent, helps you get meetings for other bookings. So those two work together. Now, I do it all myself too.
Okay.
But I can only, like, here, example, a club in Boston. I walked in there, I said, can I do a show? Can I do 7 minutes? Because I just did a college. And they're like, sure. I go up, ripped it out, and they go, you could headline here now.
Damn.
Yes, but that is once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's kind of like one of those once in a lifetime type things. Like, most of the time, like you said, you need to kind of climb, you got to grind. Yeah. Kind of like, what most people do here. You see those comics that's sitting out there right now, hey, man, just want to get set, guess what? That's kind of what I did. So I understand totally.
So you need management and agency to get that.
Yeah. And that's interesting. You just said, this is I did read that. This is your very first time here at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Unbelievable. Because, I mean, there are crowds would think, like, from what I've seen, you've done this mother 3 or 4 damn times. We're going to see Ron. But, so you said, manager and agent, did definitely a great job in kind of getting you here. So, tell me about the TV, man. First of all, Dubai, Showtime Dubai. Like, you've been to Dubai.
Yeah,
like,
I do 4 countries a year.
Oh, awesome! Now, do I have to go? That's what everybody's telling me. I have to go, though.
It's unbelievable. It's like Planet Tatooine.
Damn.
It's unbelievable because they are the leaders of technology when it comes to how to make buildings, like architecture, and even they've made their own islands.
Oh shit!
Their own islands. Like, it took them billions of dollars to take sand from a certain part of the world. They said could only work to make an island. Like, that's how serious this is. You can't just put sand. It's a certain type of sand, a certain type of rock, and all the ecosystem. The scientists were like, you can't do that because it'll fuck up the ecosystem. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to ask other scientists, how can we do this that doesn't fuck up the ecosystem? And they're like, okay, so the other scientists were fighting with the regular scientists going, no, to not fuck up the ecosystem, we have to put this kind of plants, this kind of fish, and this kind of and then finally, they added islands that you can live on, and they have, it's almost another Dubai. Wow. They have the Palms Island, which is shaped as a palm, like an actual palm tree, and then another one is a world that is islands that look like the world.
Right?
They have a transformer building that moves. They have all the craziest stuff. They have, inside a mall, you will see a ski resort. When you're in the desert, you'll see a skiing slope. They somehow figured out how to make skiing possible in the desert.
In the desert, holy shit!
There's
I gotta
outdoor
go.
air conditioning.
I gotta go. Outdoor air conditioning. Holy shit!
So you're walking because it's 125 to 30.
Yeah. It's hot as hell. Yeah.
You walk in the sidewalk. Above you is a canopy that shoots cold air.
It's just outside, walking around,
and you stay cool on the sidewalk.
Damn,
Yeah,
I gotta go, man. I gotta go. It's just bucket list for me, but it's that I'm getting.
And they have
there.
a comedy scene there.
And so when I saw you you doing some stuff in Dubai, and then it's like, how's some of the TV stuff going? So you did a Showtime special.
Yeah, I did a Showtime special in Dubai 2007 and 2008, and then 2009 I did a Showtime USA.
Okay.
Right, and then after that, I didn't have too much TV, but I've done for USA anyways. I've done the Showtime special 2009. I did Gotham Comedy Live. I
love Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham. I did what do you call it? Carson Daly.
Okay.
I did.
And I saw the biography channel. You got to tell us about that. Now, what I saw a biography channel. I was like, I have never been turning and seen any comedy on the biography channel. So what did they do? Did they do was it a story?
The biography channel was this. There was a show called Tribes of the 21st Century.
Oh, so it was an actual show.
Yeah.
And did you write?
No. They had me, Russell Peters, and two other comics.
Okay.
They were all different levels of comedy.
Yeah.
And they had the names of them, Mentor and this, that.
Got it.
And then one of my friends who actually was on Conan 2 months ago, and then a month later he was on John. What's that? Oh, fuck.
John Daly. I mean the Trevor Noah.
The other one, the one that the guy with the glasses. What the fuck is his name?
I can't think of his name right now.
It's like a late night show that
Larry Wilmore, not the Larry.
He took over Letterman.
Carson Daly.
Not Carson Daly.
Man, we both have drawn a blank. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Not Jon Stewart. He's friends with Jon Stewart.
Okay.
He was on Jon Stewart's show before, and he had his own show now. He was the guy that did the presidential.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, with the glasses and everything.
So he was
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was about documenting 4 comedians and what level we're at. And this is 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
So that was the biography channels did that on us.
Awesome.
And, I did a couple other things like Kevin Hart's LOL Network.
Oh, you done that? Okay, yeah. I was just watching J.J. Williamson's
cool.
special. And I love him. He did. I shared the stage with him here. He came up one time. Yeah, awesome. So I always kind of ended with kind of asking whatever comedian I'm interviewing who they're fanning on right now. And I just gave a name, J.J. Williamson. I love him. I love Roy Wood. He's done the podcast before. Yeah, who you are fanning on? Anybody? It could be old school, like I loved him back, or just someone now, like somebody that you're digging.
Now,
comedians that you're digging.
I mean, Patrice was always someone I loved.
Oh man, yes,
right?
Rest in peace, man. He was unbelievable, and I had to get hip to him late. It was just bad that kind of after. He was still living when I got hip to him, but at the beginning I just didn't dig him, and then I started actually they were like, no, you might want to give him another listen. Dean Edwards put me on. He's like, no, you might want to give him another listen. I gave another listen because of Dean, and thanked him ever since because he's a genius.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always love Chris Rock and Chappelle.
Yes.
And
unbelievable.
And I mean, who else is guy I really think is amazing? I like watching Patton Oswalt because he is so off of what comics normally their styles.
Okay.
Because I'm like, wow,
I like Patton too.
Patton's style is not set up a punchline. It's very scenario driven.
Yeah.
And he has a very weird way of thinking that I love because it's so not what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
It's very another kind of thought process.
Yeah.
And that to me is interesting because when I see a comic, I go, "Have I heard this premise?" And if I have, I go, "It better be a good punch that I've never heard before." And then if it is, I'm like, "Great, you did an old premise with a new punch." Yeah. Most of the time, I've heard premises.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Patton Oswalt gives you a premise that you've never heard before because he kind of draws it from his experience.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
and then that is original to me, and I think more comics kind of have to think that way because we're overpopulated with comedians and we're oversaturated.
True.
There's so much.
Everybody's a comedian.
Everybody's a comedian. Now, there's two types of audiences now. There's an audience that's there for laughter and don't know comedy. But then there's a comedy crowd that knows comedy.
Yes.
And when they, like this crowd definitely knows their comedy as they sit and listen and watch.
Yeah, Rogers does a great job, guys. They're bringing him in, man.
Yeah.
And we, over at Main Street, he's been here for I don't know how long. Was at Main Street first, then he moved. You see all the constructions going on, still packs out the place. So when you come here, that's why I love starting here. I didn't start in a bar. I didn't start in a community center. I started at an actual comedy club where they come to see comedy.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah,
so,
that's very important. Yeah. So. I always liked the Chappelle and Rock, and Patrice, and Patton Oswalt's always like a guy that makes me think of, holy shit, how the fuck is he to get
how is he to get there? Yeah. I tried to watch this Netflix special recently. Cool. Good stuff, man. But hey, I don't want to hold you hostage. I appreciate you so much for doing
this. Thanks so much, man.
Like I said, most of the time, whenever I see someone coming in, I think that'd be an interesting interview. I hit them up on Facebook, and a lot of times I don't get any response. I don't come, but when you responded, I was like, that's awesome.
Hey, it was a pleasure, bro.
Hey, appreciate you definitely, ladies and gentlemen. Honey Chatter, Ron Josol. Once again, thanks so much for checking out the pod. A very special thanks to my guest, Mr. Ron Josol. You can check out his social media outlets for future show info. Check out the next episode of the Comedy Chatter podcast with another nationally touring comic and, of course, me, Meldon Williams. Make sure y'all keep listening, subscribing, and supporting. Y'all be good to yourselves and each other. Take care.